Hello, good afternoon, morning, evening, wherever you are. Let's just wait for a few moments. There are some people online, which is great. And there'll be more and more. Today I was actually more or less exactly on time. And that probably means that there'll be a few more people who will be coming in a moment. I hope you are well. I hope that the festive season is not too stressful. And let's just see who is coming on. So let's just give it another moment or so and feel the connection. Today is another Reiki question time, but it also gives me some opportunity for some deeper ideas, thoughts, reflections, and playing around with this computer. I think this looks better. Let me just see. That's very interesting, because I realized that I kind of look a little bit like a what is it, caricature of myself when I'm looking into my laptop, which I'm doing, where the camera isn't that great. And I've been recently doing a lot of videos for social media, and slowly they are filtering out. And that's a very, very exciting process. Scary as well. But given that I managed to deal with this show, then I'm sure that everything else is going to work out. And thank you. Yes, I'm wearing a black t-shirt because I didn't have the time to change today. I just came back up to my place in an Uber, and there's just so much going on. It's currently my last week in California before I return to Europe, and there is a lot that's happening. And what I find is really quite fascinating, and this is why I wanted to start with some reflections. So many people are very busy, especially in Europe, with Christmas preparations. There are the lights up everywhere. It's very festive. It's quite cold. In California, not quite so. In Australia, not at all. But still, people are looking forward to Christmas and all these preparations. But of course, there are many other wonderful religious holidays. And at the moment, there is Hanukkah, which is amazing. And this is why I can't get hold of an important business contact at the moment. But anyway, it's wonderful. It's this beautiful family fest of lights with amazing dinners together. And just a few hours ago, just a few hours before the start of today's YouTube show, I read the news. And in the Polish parliament, they are, every year for 17 years, they are holding a reception, a celebration for Hanukkah, for the Jewish community in Poland. And it's not that many people attending. It's like a select circle of people who are invited, and they're invited to parliament. So in the lobby, I think in the lobby I read, of the parliament, they had the celebration today. And a member of parliament, a democratically elected politician for a nationalist party, took a fire extinguisher and extinguished the candles on the seven-armed chandelier, the menorah. I was so shocked. 21st century, democracy, liberal democracy, part of the European Union, and this can happen. And when we look into the world, when we look at what's going on with politics, what's going on with communities, with engagement, with democracies, it is absolutely scary. So why am I saying that on a Reiki show and on a spiritual exchange? Because for me, that is very spiritual. Taking responsibility, not just for our own life, but for other people, engaging. And a democracy gives us this incredible opportunity to do this. But so many people think they elect politicians, then they are angry about the politicians, and they are frustrated, and then they don't want anything to do with politics anymore, rather than realizing I could be elected. I can take part in this. At least I need to vote, and I need to voice my opinions, and if necessary, my dissent with what's going on. But democracy, community, family, everything lives from participation. And I really feel, and if I may say so, especially in the spiritual community, that we have kind of lost this momentum of engaging in this. We think of grand ideas. We try to work on our own lives. We look at, after possibly a small community, we try to see the bigger picture, but the bigger picture of life doesn't just apply to us personally, but it applies to people anywhere in the world. This is what I find so fascinating about this idea of reincarnation, that we are born again and again with this complete amnesia, that we don't normally remember past lives or much of a past life unless at some stage we do a past life regression, and then we go to certain times and elements of certain select past lives. But of course, the overall idea is that we have been reincarnated so many times already. And well, I know from my past life regressions that I have not always been a white middle-aged German. I mean, middle-aged, of course, not always, but also not white, and also not German, and also not always European. I have lived in countries that are very, very different, that I have not visited, may not even have completely heard of in this lifetime, or if so, not really paid as much interest or attention because I grew up in a certain background. And from that, I have expanded, I've learned, I've understood more. But of course, in a previous lifetime, we will have looked at what's going on in the world in very, very different ways, completely immersed in different cultures. That's the whole idea of being spiritual. Exploring different aspects of humanity, of reincarnating into different bodies and different cultures, and of being, well, ultimately a divine being, a spirit in a body, but in different bodies. And this is at the heart of all the problems we have in the world at the moment, that we don't accept other people as spirits in a body if they are ever so different. And if we want to accept that, we first and foremost need to accept ourselves as a spirit in a body. Of course, we can identify with our culture. We can happily celebrate Christmas. We can happily celebrate Hanukkah. We can happily celebrate Ramadan. We can celebrate all sorts of religious celebrations, but there's a certain likelihood that in a previous lifetime, we followed a different religion or none. And this is often very hard to take, but I feel it's the only way really to bring peace to our surroundings and to the world. And I would like to do a little exercise, because that really unsettled me today, this the news that I got. And of course, it's often with extremist parties, but not even just with extremist parties. Mainstream parties have, in so many democracies, stopped to cooperate. That in Germany, it's still a little bit different from many other countries. And as far as I'm aware, 80% or so of the legislation, ultimately, after going through all the different committees in parliament, are voted on with a broad consensus by politicians from either side. When I look at most democracies in the world, there's one side voting for something and one side is voting against it. And they're voting against it not because they're against it, but because they want to derail the people in power in order to take charge next time. What is that about responsibility? To derail something that, at least to a certain degree, is helpful for people only for personal political gain. Some people call it strategic thinking. I think it is the opposite of what it is to be spiritual. And now I'm realizing that there is the sun coming out and I can't really be seen anymore. So this is interesting. I need to find a solution for that. Give me a moment, please. And I sort out the light situation. So I'll be back in a second and hopefully have the light sorted out. This is a first, but it was a bit cloudy before, so I didn't realize that the light was coming out at this time. So I'll be back in a second. I think this is better. Thank you for waiting. So I sorted out the light problem and I think this is better now. So coming back to this very unusual for me, political reflections. And I mean, I have a degree in political sciences. I've always been very interested in politics. When I was in my late teens and in my 20s, I was very much in politics. And for me, it was very much about defending freedom and allowing people to be themselves. But if we claim that for ourselves, we want to have the freedom, we also need to give other people freedom. And I would like to do a little exercise, and it's a very personal exercise, but just see how we stand as a person with this. And this is what I love Reiki for so much, that it can give us this tool, these different exercises, the connection, the insight, the intuition to find out more about ourselves and other people. So let's start with ourselves. So when you're ready, just take a moment and place your hands together and close your eyes and connect to Reiki. And then just ask Reiki, ask the universe, am I respecting other people's freedom? Am I respecting other people's being different? What aspects are there in my life, in my thoughts, in my attitude that I need to change? And then move up to your third eye and just see what comes into your mind. And then slowly move your hands back down and thank Reiki for the insight. So there are a few more people on now, which is great. And thank you for joining the exercise. I really feel that we are so much under threat in the world, in communities, in countries, in democracies, from this authoritarian way of thinking, which ultimately comes out of fear. We feel threatened by other people. We feel threatened by the news. We feel threatened by the stress of everyday life, and we are looking for some guidance. And rather than listening to our heart, we are looking for guidance from the outside, not from a higher power, but guidance from people who say, this is right, this is wrong, this is how you do it, other people are wrong, this is the path. And when this happens in politics, we are in a very, very difficult area, because we are on the path to authoritarianism. And when we look what's happening in the world, there are so many examples where people are sidelined, where people are prosecuted for their beliefs, for their lifestyles. And being gay, I am very fortunate, obviously, to live in countries where this is accepted without any problems. Both the United States and Germany, indeed many European countries have or had openly gay high-ranking politicians, ministers, and so on. And yet there are so many countries where this is challenged, where you cannot be open, where you end up in jail, where you are prosecuted, where you have to live a double life. And this is something that I, of course, very, very personally think very strongly about. But are we as tolerant towards other people as we wish to be tolerated and accepted? This, I think, is a really good question that we sometimes need to ponder about. And we can learn and we can change. And when we did this exercise that we just did, for me, there was a really fascinating message that I'm going to apply now to the meetings, the get-togethers, the encounters I am having, because it just showed me a little bit where I can improve. So hopefully you had similar experiences. So it is meant to be Reiki question time, but somehow the news today just kind of got me a little bit off track, or maybe on track. Maybe that was the whole idea. Because if we do not take responsibility in the world as Reiki practitioners, as people who have the tangible, practical, everyday experience that we are connected to higher levels in the universe, that we are spiritual beings, that we are souls in the body. If we don't change the world, I'm sorry, who else is? And I feel this is really, and I said that already, a little bit of a problem often in the kind of spiritual community, that we tend to keep that to ourselves, to our personal life, or maybe we share that with friends and family and like-minded people. But to realize that we have this awareness for a reason. We have incarnated this time in world history with this awareness. I am a spiritual being, and everybody is, but we know, and therefore we can share it, we can act on it, and we can make the world a better place. I think this is something that we as spiritual community still need to work on. And if we just get up every morning, connect to Reiki, give Reiki to our heart, feel our heart, feel the connection, and act accordingly, I think we can change so very much. So let's just do that for a moment. Let's just connect to Reiki once more. And then when you're ready, just place your hands on your heart or your heart chakra and feel the connection. Just let Reiki open your heart. And then come back into the here and now. Just bring your hands together for a moment. Thank Reiki. Take a deep breath. Feel your heart and set your intention that your heart may guide you for the rest of the day. Thank you so much for joining, for sharing, for being here. So I said it's really Reiki question time. But Reiki question time is a little bit of a euphemism for whatever comes to my mind, whatever is in the news, or whatever questions are sent in. So today there weren't any questions sent in. But if there is a question from anybody, just please do place it in the chat box, and I'll just have a look. That's an interesting comment from Deborah, and I really like that. She says, I'm just putting that up because it can be seen anyway. No, that's one. There we go. I don't like the word tolerance because it really isn't a heart-opening expression. I think that's really interesting. That's amazing, Deborah. Thank you so much. Because I think it makes sense. Tolerance means to accept other people in their differences in different ways. But it doesn't necessarily mean that we accept them as human beings, as spiritual beings, that we tolerate them. Okay, let them do their own thing, but are we opening our hearts to them? Are we following them with love? That is a good question. So thank you so much for this idea in today's show. And this actually went a little bit longer than I thought. And I think we can do so very much by really using Reiki for ourselves and sharing Reiki. And I'm sure there'll be a lot of people who will watch the replay later on. And of course, they can feel the energy in the Reiki share as well. So let's just connect for a moment to Reiki with each other and share Reiki. So when you're ready, just bring your hands together. Set your intention to connect or reconnect to Reiki and just really feel it. And now create this connection with everybody on this Reiki share, now live or at a later stage in a replay. If you've learned the connection or distance symbol, then use this symbol. Otherwise, just use your intention to connect with everybody now for a Reiki share. Giving Reiki to everybody and receiving energy, receiving Reiki through everybody. So we are a channel of healing and we are receiving healing through all the channels ourselves. Just lean back, just relax and let Reiki flow. You may want to take a moment to sense inside. Do you feel Reiki? Do you feel the relaxation, the healing, the connection? And of course, Reiki will carry on working. So when you're ready, just slowly bring your hands back together. Take a moment to thank Reiki, and then come back into the here and now. Well, thank you for joining. Thank you for listening. I have put it in the newsletters already, but there are a few new developments. One is that I'm now posting on social media, on TikTok, on Instagram, and on YouTube Shorts. YouTube Shorts is the same channel as this is on, the Reiki Revolution. Instagram is Torsten A. Lang. And TikTok is torstenlang.reiki. So do have a look. Please follow, subscribe, and share with as many people as possible. This is supposed to reach a lot more people and create a bigger platform whilst I'm working on the next steps of how to reach as many people as we need to bring these changes into society and into the world. And I'm offering again the January Reiki Challenge, the program that I've been running for, I think, 3 years now, maybe even 4 years. And the feedback is amazing. It really is a 31-day program of life-changing exercises. But this time, everything will be video-based. So you don't just need to read and think about what to do and follow the exercises written in an email. You can just lean back and close your eyes and just listen and follow the exercise, which a lot of people say helps them to go much deeper into it. So this is a first, and it's in January, and at the moment there's an early bird price with a 10% discount, which you can find on the Reiki Revolution website. The links are in the emails I sent out, or you just go and just see, where is it? There we go. There's the Reiki Revolution. If I can find it, I'll put it on there. There we go. Just the ReikiRevolution.com, and you'll find a post there that you can click on, or on the top is the link to the page where you can find out more about the January program. And that's pretty much it from me today. Thank you for joining. Thank you for bearing with me. Sorry about the light, but then again, I'm not really sorry for the light. It's beautiful. Light comes in, which is just a little bit distracting. And have a wonderful rest of the week. And there'll be much more in the future, much more on social media, much more on the show. I'm working on so many new ways at the moment. So please stay loyal and join and share as much as possible. I wish you a wonderful rest of the day, rest of the evening, and I'm now looking once again for what I need to click on. Let's just see. There it is. So goodbye.